You are watching Getting Tabled.
Okay, and then we'll cut that little bit and we'll just go like this. It's like this and like that and like this, Anna.
Getting tabled.
Getting tabled.
Getting tabled.
Getting tabled.
Getting tabled.
Getting tabled.
With the Bruce and the Yang.
Hello, future people, and you are again listening to Getting Table with your host. He hates peas with a passion, the Bruce.
Hey, that would be me. When did that come up in conversation last?
When I made my purple chicken pot pie.
Ah, that's right, because you're a horrible person. That's right, yes. Why
I
did
made
it
a
turn
purple-
purple anyway?
So I used a mix of root vegetables, so carrots, turnips, parsnips, beets, instead of just
the
carrots.
beets tended purple. Okay,
Right.
Yep.
So I add some variety by adding more
I
root
don't like
vegetables.
beets either.
Yes, it does cause it to become purple. If you hear side notes of a tiny human, that's because there is a tiny human within 3 feet of me. So this episode is going to be without explicit content.
From you. We're usually pretty good with that sort of stuff anyway.
No, we
Anyway,
unless we
welcome.
intentionally do it, we're pretty good. I am still opening up my run sheet. I am so behind schedule.
Well, while you're talking, I am the Bruce. I have currently been awake for 19 hours. George has been awake for maybe 3. I don't know. How long have you been awake for, George?
It is I am at 12 hours.
I'm beating you by 7 hours. Awesome.
Yes, but I have also removed half of a tree and things of that nature.
I just push people around all day.
Literally.
Yes, literally.
So we're both here after we forgot how to count, and it was just like, wait, no, we are supposed to record. I can't now. And so Bruce took it upon himself to do a one-man show. So if you're still listening to us, thank you. We apologize. We'll never let Bruce do this by himself again.
Solo night was fun. We had fun.
Speaking
JP
of,
listened to it. He said it was good.
Where is JP? Does he know what time we do this yet or no?
Yeah, he was on earlier. You missed him because you were off eating dinner.
Eating food.
Yep.
Food is good.
How about we actually, discuss some news?
Newly received or noteworthy information, especially about recent or important events.
So we, real quick, Bruce, look here.
Yeah.
And you can see like Inception happening. Where my fingers.
Yeah.
It's totally Inception happening. TT Combat released gaming mats. This is cool.
Yes.
And it's also bad.
Well,
bad for you.
This has been. Well, yeah, it's bad for me. Well, okay, so TT Combat have released some gaming mats. This is something that was supposed to have come from the original Dropfleet Kickstarter, which they weren't involved in. They've obviously purchased the product.
Sort of. They were supposed to be paper.
They were going to be paper mats. Yes. These
So-
are proper neoprene. The artwork on them is phenomenal. They do actually have a couple of them that are the Drop Zone one it's a Sky one, obviously, because it's Drop Zone. They've got some fairly unique looking ones. Concrete. There's like an Underhive looking thing. For those that are on the video, they've got quite a few different looking ones.
Don't mind me. I'm just messing with my light settings. Do I look pretty now, Bruce?
No, you never look pretty.
Good.
The reason George is making the comment that it's bad for me is because by the time you purchase the mat and pay for postage, because they do not qualify for the free postage over £100,
Wah, wah.
it works out about $7 more expensive for me than buying from Deep Cut, which was already too expensive for me. as far as I was concerned.
So
But the mats themselves look amazing. They're
Well-
priced fairly evenly with most of the other companies out there. So
yeah, no, as far as like competitive pricing, it's fine. Yeah. I too, will be in the situation of it has to come overseas for me, so I have to pay for that overseas shipping.
Yeah.
So
and that's what's going to throw it out for us. Unfortunately, I don't have anybody nearby because the company that was going to be printing mats over here bought the vinyl printer, which only achieves so much. So, and I don't know what's going on with that at this point. But yeah, they do look good. The next article is a little weird. So, War Cradle, which for those that are not aware, War Cradle is the company that owns Wild West Exodus. What's the boats in the future game that you
Dystopian Wars.
They own Dystopian Wars and everything as well.
Yeah, it's not futuristic. It's a steampunk Victorian era. But digressing, yes.
They're releasing terrain for Marvel Crisis Protocol, and it looks amazing. Which I will show you if this ever loads.
Really need to figure out how to do this on my laptop screen while looking at my main screen. And
just look at my camera.
Yes. No,
So,
I've got to pull up over here.
One
Yeah,
building there that's very clearly Doctor Strange's house. There's another New York Police Department building.
Yeah.
There's buildings in production. There's vans. They're really going all out with that. It looks amazing.
Yeah. It is on pre-order. It is £100. It looks really. So it's going to be on the what is the Marvel Crisis Protocol? Is it a 40 millimeter or
40 mil? Yeah.
40 mil. So it'll be a bit big for a lot of the other minis games out there. So, but still looks. Yeah.
You could use it with 40K quite easily because 40K is bigger than they say it is anyway.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't work in theme with 40K. The problem
with
city like this is there's
only some other planet they've
landed
on.
It's the only city in the world it's the only city in the universe that's never been destroyed.
It's New York, so it's been destroyed.
Intact buildings don't exist.
Fine.
It's New York, so it was designed to be destroyed. It's all full of rats and everything.
I was about to say something, but I'm gonna hold my tongue.
Yeah, I was more referring to New York being a giant city. So
I was more referring to other things that are happening. But yeah,
that too. That's what I was realizing after I said it. Bruce didn't think.
Bruce barely thinks on 19 hours sleep. So
I think sometime.
Yeah. Next, Relic Blade. Storms of rural. Is that rural? Looks like rural. That K looks like an R. It looks like it's rural. Where I live,
it's a K.
rural.
Kural. Okay, so Relic Blade is a skirmish level game, very much along the similar lines of Mordheim. It's a game that already exists. This is an expansion.
It's not a new idea.
No, they already made the idea a while ago.
Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, yeah. Okay.
So they're expanding the game. But this has some really interesting looking minis. Most of the stuff that is painted on here is painted in that comic book like style, like I've been experimenting with. There's some. I'm trying to find a really good looking mini to show up. I kind of like this guy with his beard. He's kind of cool.
See, how far do I have to scroll down for that dude with beard? That guy has a mustache.
He does. But yeah, it looks quite interesting.
There's
the sculpts are quite nice.
Are they
have,
resin?
Like, murder, death, pig type things. No, they're metal, I believe.
Okay, because the dude with the beard, it looks like it's a resin. So, but yeah, okay. Ooh, like there's an infiltrator. He looks like an assassin.
That's definitely
Yeah,
better.
well, I saw that, but then I was looking at the images next to the card, so I was like, so
what you're looking at there is 3D sculpts.
which I'm slightly disappointed in that they're doing showing that as the sculpt. Like if you're gonna do that, then show it painted. Don't make it look like it's a resin. Small complaint.
What is
Yeah. So like it's an interesting one. This was shared by On Tabletop, which is where I got the link for that one. And I was like, ooh, I'm gonna talk about that because that looks pretty. I also found something very quickly for Captain Socks for his trek into space where he's fighting over the gates in the wars. Yes, that's my very bad Stargate, Star Wars joke, which is definitely not R2D2 as an assassin. It's definitely not.
I saw that. I was just like, that looks really cool.
Yeah, there's nothing about this I don't love.
Yeah, and
it's
then
by Wargame Exclusive, which is one of the companies that they're fairly well known for making female versions of 40k stuff. So this is kind of off their beaten path a little bit too.
Well, they're going with it. I mean, that's not an Imperial Vindalorian assassin. No, that's got to be a Mandalorian because the helmet's the same. And that's not an orc. That has to be a baby Yoda species.
Yeah. There's a couple of minis they have, which is like from Wargame Exclusive, have that female Tau, but she's naked with a sniper rifle. It's that same company that does that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that's exactly what I see is yeah.
I'm just saying who the company is.
Yeah. So these images, they're kind of actually neat to see images, although they're still very static. Studio X finally has a prototype in hand.
Yes. So this is an update from something we discussed a couple of times now. They had a Kickstarter earlier in the year, which they decided to cancel because they realized they jumped the gun too early.
Well, yeah, I was reading through the comments, and they had slews of questions like, "How big is it? What are the dimensions?" Blah blah. I mean, it's very hard to see how things fit into it based off of the conceptual art they had. So
yeah. So for those that are watching the video, we actually have seen the actual prototype arrive now. They are doing a live Q&A session in about 3 or 4 weeks' time. They haven't set the actual date yet. The renewed Kickstarter will be in about 5 to 6 weeks' time. Again, they haven't set the official date yet. But yeah, I actually spoke with these guys yesterday, I think. I think it was yesterday. Because after they uploaded this, Michelle tagged me and was like, hint, hint.
because you're really interested in this.
I was actually a backer on the original Kickstarter. This wasn't cheap. This was, and I'm not saying that it's not cheap because it's expensive, but this is very much a niche. It's very much a niche product.
Yeah, I mean,
they actually,
as you point out,
yeah,
I was gonna say, as you point out, since you travel by motorbike, this is a very ideal solution for you to transport what you're working on to your FLGS.
Yeah, it's transporting hobby stuff is something I've always had issues with. Short of buying a whole heap of battle foam just to carry paints, which feels like a waste of money to me.
Do you see what?
Yeah,
that's my reaction to you having to buy that much battle foam to transport paint.
Oh right, yeah, okay. They made comments along the lines of, I'm just reading this verbatim. of their message to me. As strange as it sounds, cancelling the original Kickstarter was a good thing for the team. Basically, what they've said is that it allowed them to get the prototype in hand, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's actually allowed them to look at some suggestions that the community had done. They've actually got a worldwide fulfillment company in now, which will help with the costs of the shipping, which was another one of the big feedbacks they had. Look, I'm still excited for this. It's that they actually have a prototype in hand. It's an actual real thing. It's still not going to be a product for everyone because not everybody travels with their hobby. But for those that do, it's a good option. Yeah, and like I said earlier, they kind of they acknowledged that they jumped the gun with the original launch. They went there too quickly.
Which it's nice to see that they're in a situation where they can realize, oh, we jumped the gun, and then can hold off on it, and then still launch it again later on when they're ready. I think it was a great learning experience for them to be like, oh, there are so many questions people are asking that we don't have answers for. Let's get these answered. Let's figure everything else out. And then let's try it again, and maybe we'll get less. Because, I mean, there were so many comments in, like, a day.
Yeah. There was a lot of questions that were like, so...
Yeah.
And that was so early on in the thing. The next thing, moving back to War Cradle, we have new Wild West Exodus stuff. Although, technically, it's Lost World Exodus in this case.
Oh.
For those that are familiar with the Nautilus, the crew of the Nautilus is coming to Lost World Exodus.
No, it's a shell.
What?
The Nautilus is a shell. It's the spiraling shell. That's the Nautilus. The ship's named after a shell.
That's nice, but I'm talking about the ship. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Words, intelligent things. Tiny human.
Yeah. So this is another six-person crew. We get... I'm not going to try and say these names. We get a lot of different people. Darwin's there. Violet's there. Nico's there.
Nemu? I thought it was Nemo.
No. Well, yeah, there's a Nemu, which might be. I suspect that's copyright. But then again, no, because Nautilus is public domain. I don't know.
Yeah, so
it might be one of the other characters. It could be a character of their own thing. Or actually, no, she might be his daughter. Yeah, she is the captain. So they're using the Nautilus, but they're putting their own spin on it, which is very much a War Cradle thing to do.
Fair enough. I just so it's like
more Exodus.
Just change the U back to an O because I mean it's Captain Nemo, it's a Nautilus. I mean just go ahead, run with it. If you can run with it, run with it. Don't.
Dude. They're just trying to make it their own. The next thing that we have coming up made me go, ugh? And for a minute, my brain started going grr until I realized, oh, actually, I don't really care that much. 40K is changing its table size.
Yeah, so I'm actually kind of okay with this from the home perspective. Well,
it's going to make certain things easier from that perspective. But realistically, this is just the recommended minimum size anyway. So everybody that has their 6x4 mats can still continue using them. It doesn't actually change anything.
Yeah. So what it's going to do is it's going to allow TOs to cram more tables in.
That too, yeah. There's been a few people in the community that have said that they're going to turn around and like suggest for people to like slice their mats and stuff. I'm not suggesting that. Keep your mats in the condition that you got them. if it's really that big of a deal, tape off the difference or just measure it
Yeah,
and mark it
don't-
with a liner or
don't.
something.
D-
Don't
don't-
cut your mat because every other game is 6x4.
or
Well,
4x4.
Not necessarily, but yeah.
Yeah, go
Don't go
to
cutting your mat so that it only works for 40k.
go to Hobby Lobby, Joanne Crafts, whatever you have in Europe or Australia. Buy yourself chunks of felt and cut strips and lay it down, and that'll mark it off, and you'll be good. It'll be cheap, and your board will be safe.
Mark it with a Sharpie if you really want to. So long as
Uh,
the Sharpie mark doesn't annoy you.
Right, yeah. That I like the felt
Personally-
because yeah.
Yeah. Personally, with the 40k army that I don't own, I'm just going to play on a 6x4. Because why wouldn't I? It's not
Right.
that big of a difference.
Yeah. Like I said, I like it more for the home aspect where it can give a
Most homes don't have a 6x4 table at home unless
Or-
it's been built specifically for it.
or space 4.
That too. So the measurements for a regular 2,000 point game is 5x3 now. Which is not a huge, it's only a couple of foot different.
I know in the case of like my FLGS, they would welcome having tables that size because they like to accommodate for us, but we take up so much space. I mean, how are the your regular like folding tables? 2.5 feet or something like that, and then so you can fit
Yeah.
6 people on a side. Double that up, you can cram 12 Magic players in one of those, and they can do a pre-release and set up 6 of those tables and just have people and sweat and stink. And we're like, we have to have 4 foot by 6 foot, then we have to have 2 foot between each table, and there's only 2 people per table. Doubles? No,
Yeah.
we can do 4 people. So our hobbies.
We're also gonna take 2 hours for a game, not 30 minutes.
Right, yeah. Or 5 minutes, like Magic can. So,
But yeah, news-wise, that's pretty much it at this point. Like generally, it's just updates on certain things, and finally getting news on Studio X was nice. But otherwise, you want to move into hobby?
yeah, we can move into some hobby.
Cream, glue, prime, paint.
What have you been up to, George?
Well, I have someone that could fill you in on what I've been up to. And I will grab a couple more to show you. Sam, why don't you tell people what I've been up to? Tell them what I've been up to.
I don't think Sam wants to.
Well, what my dad's up to is kind of almost stealing my ideas because he's done the same thing to his dreadnought, but he's done to my ships and his other ships now. Basically.
All right, I'm going to steal the headphones so I can hear Bruce. Thanks for the update, Sam. He's not wrong. His ships were color shift painted first, so
Yeah,
so you can see.
I like that you stole his idea, even though the color shift was your idea anyway.
Right. So there's one of my cruisers. So as you can see, still very dark on the back, very light on the front. So
And actually, it's even more effective on the smaller ship. Actually,
yeah, no, it totally. Well, yeah, and I'm still getting used to this ring light here, but it's killing my peripheral vision right now. but it's doing a great job of like actually like and it's on the mid setting. Actually, let me turn it down. Where's the other? Okay, that's super bright. Okay, maybe that's not going to kill my eyes so much. Oh, Sam's getting his scourge out.
This
So
is what I mean by idea.
yeah, so I don't know if you can. Color shifting is so hard to show on camera. So
yeah, because it doesn't really show it as well as the human eye does.
yeah, so But yeah, so I've got my 3 cruisers, 6 corvettes, and my dreadnought. Don't mind that noise. That's the army case for the Scourge.
Ah,
The
that's
true
much
heroes
better.
of the story.
There we go. If you hold it right there, see that's the camera, Sam.
It's a pretty ship. I love
It
the
is-
Scourge ships. I really do.
Yes. So, okay. So can I get you to lay those over there? Also, so can you? Yeah, you can kind of see me. I'm gonna pull this out here, Bruce. Can you see this?
Sort of. I can't see what it is. It's a box of something.
Death may
Ooh, Cthulhu!
die.
Do you see this right here in the corner?
Yeah. Oh, it's a Simon game. Okay.
Yeah. So it's my first actual product after backing Onk. I haven't fully opened it because I've been waiting to get all the mounts and everything so I can do proper and like practice doing some proper unboxing stuff for when Super Fantasy Brawl Cubs, because that's coming soon. And up there is also a $25 box of Rune Wars. Yeah, $25 for the full starter box. Yeah, so
I actually have heard good things about Rune Wars. I haven't played it, but
yeah,
I have
so
heard good things about it.
So from what I've gathered, it's kind of like the it's a Fantasy Flight game. So you do have to you do have to kind of put the stuff together. But the movement is based off the Star Wars attack wing, where you have like the little curve things of like 2 and 3 and stuff like that. That dictates your move it.
Yeah.
A lot of bases from the.
So, what else have I done? Oh, I have a new camera mount that puts me I think at a better profile and better resolution. What else have I done? Oh, and I got a bunch of totes to store stuff in. They're adorbs.
Put the dwarves in boxes as opposed to on top of them.
No, the dwarves have their own metal box, and yeah. So, but
It was a Lord of the Rings reference.
Oh, gotcha. But so
I'd like
down
me to
here,
get you a box.
right? Oh, got it. Yeah. So, but one of the boxes I put my Iron Labyrinth terrain in, and all fits in there nicely. So I can. This is more to start storing terrain as I get more terrain and whatnot.
Maybe getting the tower.
Yes, yeah, like maybe some towers and stuff, Sam. Yes.
Like the giant.
Let's see. Is there? See, now I can do this with this camera too. I've been keeping the bench kind of clean.
It's always a bonus.
Right. Actually, my
unusual for you.
Right. My actual airbrush booth is starting to look really pretty now with all that color shift paint oversprayed. It looks really pretty. So, I haven't been getting too much hobby done, but I have been getting some hobby done. So, and like I said, I'm gonna practice doing some unboxings so that when not Fantasy Flight, Mythic Games gets Super Fantasy Brawl shipped, I can do a good proper video of that.
Yeah.
So,
which I'm looking forward to.
Yes. I'm gonna leave it at that for now. Well, because since we're both getting the same thing, we can in theory like set up the mats on both sides of the world and have a little battle, so to speak.
Yeah.
A lot easier than just like actually being able to see it. So there's one other thing I want to talk about, but I think that's going to be more of a game talk kind of thing because it's a game I'm super excited about. And there is some problems with it, which I'm super happy I discovered it when I did. So, you've got a new desk.
It's a work in progress, but yes. Most of my hobby this fortnight has been organizational stuff and the building of my desk, which has been coming for about 8 or 9 months, as I said last episode. I bought 3 bookshelves one of which has temporarily been given to my housemate, and then he's going to replace it with the one that he brought when it arrives. So I've been able to organize all of my stuff. I'm going to have places to actually put all of my
let's
models.
see if I can do this real quick. Kind of. Yeah, you really can't see it. So that section of the wall right there, I'm going to put shelves up to house all the board games.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah.
Instead of this little shelf behind my head here. Although, granted, that little shelf behind my head makes for a great backdrop. When my head doesn't cover it, apparently, it looks like.
Well, your head makes everything look horrible.
Well, it's so shiny.
But yeah, the desk that I've been planning to build for the last 8 or 9 months has actually mostly happened at this point. It's actually out in the garage right now. I oiled up the legs, and I'm just waiting for that to dry overnight, and then I can sand it and go again. And it's all the finishing stuff that needs to be done at this point.
Yeah,
there's a little bit of sanding I need to do on the top, but otherwise it just needs to be bolted together.
Yeah. So now looking at this too, is this on the same idea as your bed frame? Is something that breaks down and is easier for you to move?
Yep.
Okay.
The two. So if this is my table,
Mm-hmm.
the two sides this way
Uh-huh.
come off as separate pieces.
Okay.
The cross braces on here are separate pieces. There's a false back, so that I can mount my TV and my monitors and everything too. Because I'm not allowed to mount things on the wall over here. So I've built my own wall into the desk.
There you go. Yes, not everyone owns their property that they can do with as they please.
Yeah, pretty much.
Don't get it's a trap.
It's a trap that you get something out of, though.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I don't know I think you saw when I spun the camera around. I mean, this room does look pretty nice. So, game talk.
You wanted to do game talk? Yep.
Let's do game talk. We'll start with yours first, but yeah.
Talk nerdy to me.
So starting with
Bruce.
mine first.
Yes.
Awesome. What have you been up to? I haven't had a chance to do anything game-wise.
Oh, really? Is it okay?
Well, I've been on night shift all this week, and my days off last week.
Oh,
were
so
all done
this
building the
is
desk.
recycled game talk here.
Oh,
Right.
yep. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So here we'll do this. Let you bring that up.
Loading. Oh yeah, I knew about this.
Yeah, so I was checking our updates on Super Fantasy Brawl, and they showed me this at the bottom, and I was just like, "What's this?" And so, unfortunately, this Kickstarter has ended, which is where it's very unfortunate because you can only get this game through Kickstarter. Mythic Games, same company, is not sending this to retail.
No, but when it goes to the backer kit, you could back it late like you did with the other one.
Right. So,
This only finished recently.
Yeah. So if you don't get it, if you didn't get it through that or through the late pledge, you can't get this game. So it's a cooperative game, which I like those. Cooperative games are great. That's also why I picked up the Cthulhu, because it's a cooperative game.
Yeah. So on the page that you've shared with me,
Yes.
if you scroll down past
No.
the flags,
Yeah, I know.
there's
Right.
a bit there that actually tells you how to.
Yeah. So this is important for people who are interested in this. So if you miss this, you've missed it. So, yes, go ahead, Bruce.
He's talking about a game called Hell. Hel. The Last Saga.
Yes, I was getting to that. Hell, the Last Saga. So it's a cooperative game. It's a minis-based game. It is a narrative-based game too. So there's lots of like, when you're certain things, you grab the book, you read that passage from the book, kind of like Betrayal on the House of the Hill, I guess is a good equivalent. It's Norse.
Yep.
It's Norse-based, which that's even more for me. And it's horror.
Yeah.
So right there are so many things happening in this game that is just like I went hell in. That's their top pledge level is hell in. Like hell all
As opposed to all in.
Yeah. So it hit all of its stretch goals. So when you go all in though, so you get the game, you get a second box with all the stretch goals. You get a set of Viking chess, the book on the making of the game, a little dice mat that snaps up together for a dice tray, additional dice, and a neoprene game mat.
Nice.
So, and that's a grand total of $235 for all that. Now, as you scroll down here,
That's not bad.
if you scroll down and then keep looking at all the stretch goals and that's a lot for that amount, I think.
Mythic do, they do a lot of their Kickstarters are always big.
So I'm super excited about this for two reasons. One, there's something else that you rarely see on games. If you go back up to the top here, Bruce, where's that at? 18 plus. They say that because of the horror base. They say it's there's none of the sexual explicit, things like that. It's just they want to make sure that children don't play something that could give them nightmares. I get that, but it's from what they've said, it's also not that bad. It takes about 90 minutes to play a game. That's a decent amount of time to play a game. Players 1 to 4. You can play with yourself on this. Yeah, that I'm kind of excited about that because you can sit down and just be like, all right, girlfriend wants to do this. I want to do this. So I can do this by myself. So, I'm very super interested for this. It's supposed to deliver this year or next year this time. There we go. So, and they'll have all logistics stuff figured out by then, hopefully, unless there's another pandemic that happens. Hope not. One a decade is enough. Thank you. Actually, one a century because we had the Spanish flu in the early 20s, and actually, it's been about 100 years since the last pandemic. So,
actually, almost exactly.
Yeah. So,
it's actually a few years extra.
Yeah. So, that being said, now it's a really cool thing because there's day, there's night, there's in camp, there's expedition. I was reading one of the updates from Wednesday since Mythic likes to update on Wednesdays. There's 13 chapters, and the chapters are grouped into like four groups. So they've got 4 groups of people working on a section. So that section has the same kind of story flow. And then you move on to the next section of chapters, and it'll be a slightly different story flow because of different writers.
And there's different paths that you can follow too, which means you're going to have different, you've got different ways to play through the game.
Right. So, and then on top of it, it's like 13 people you can play as. So the replayability of this game is going to be amazing, I think. Because there's so many different ways you could do it. There's numerous different characters, etc., etc. Now, that being said, being narrative based, they're just going to get to the point to where it's just like, you're going to read the same passage 3-4 times at some point. So that's the downside of narrative games.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, but well, I mean, unless they release an augment book, which I doubt they will. But it was just the Viking chess too is just like, well, that's just a neat little addition. I mean,
Yeah.
that has nothing to do with this game, and they're just like, oh yeah, we'll throw this in here for this, on this package and everything. So, I love that the map though, for the game map.
Yeah, the map does look pretty.
Yeah. And then I'm not one of these people, but you get the book for the making of the game, which I'm not one of those people. But why not? And I just hit something. What did I click? There we go. But
Postage
the minis
to Australia is only $35. That's not too bad.
considering what I've seen for postage, yeah. I mean, oh yeah. Hold on. Wait. Hold on, Bruce. Because best I can figure, it's going to cost me $25 to send you that.
Yeah. And this is like massively bigger.
And it's right now sitting next to mine.
Mm-hmm.
So
I didn't win the competition, by the way.
So
They even did a redraw, and I still didn't win.
They're just like, let's really rub it into him never winning anything and do it again. So
I can't complain too much. I was talking last episode about how I won a miniature from, like, a professionally painted miniature from Warcradle.
wow.
That was like a year ago now.
So for those wondering, yeah, we poo-pooed on that mini a lot. The way Games Workshop did it. My FLGS did finally get theirs in, and they reached out to the clients who spend money there. And when I told them about you, they're like, well, we'll sell one to you for him, we don't care. And so I tried to get a hold of you, though. I decided to impulse. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So for those that are at home, George impulsed on my behalf and was like, "Hey, I have this for you." It's like, "How much was it?" Okay. It's yeah. It was more than I would have been willing to spend on it, but that is okay because I now have it and I can add it to my collection.
Yeah. That being said, it's still a lot less than some of those auctions were.
Oh, it's a lot. It was a lot less money. Yeah, it was a lot
Yeah.
less money than
So
I would have been paying otherwise.
I made a choice on your behalf, and I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Like I said, I'll cover the shipping for you. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But yeah, so I'm really, really excited for this game. Just because, yeah, I like this last bit, but down here where they've got like the bodies hanging upside down from the trees and it says horror. It's just like, yes.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited for this because, I think it's more content that we can, bring, because this is going to be a very limited game. Like,
Yeah.
if you go
Most
to
of
miniature,
their stuff is.
well, if you go to a miniature market, it's a very big board game online retailer here in the US. They've already got for pre-sale Super Fantasy Brawl and I think it's 2 characters not in the Kickstarter.
Interesting. I knew that there was characters that hadn't been shown yet, but
Yeah, so
interesting.
so Mythic Games is pulling Super Fantasy Brawl to the full retail market.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
So
It's the only game of theirs that they have taken to retail so far.
that's what's making me excited for, but hell that, I do have it coming eventually. And I think it's one of those games where I think it could be very entertaining. And yeah, I don't know how I would logistically manage it, but the possibility of like, an online, group session kind of thing with it, since it is a scenario kind of thing. And yeah, I don't know why, I was super excited. And it had again with Mythic. And this says something about it too. It went from May 12th to May 26th, 14 days. And they raised $2.2 million for it.
Yep.
2.2 million in 14 days. So I want to say Simon and Ankh did like 3.5 in like a month. Oh, I know you're not a big fan of them, but I really want to talk about that one you posted that you said you don't know how you feel about it. I really want to talk about.
Oh, I completely forgot to discuss that last episode.
Yeah. Oh, that's great that you forgot to discuss because I want to talk to you.
Or did we talk about it? Yeah.
No.
I don't know.
No,
I don't remember if I did or not.
Posted it. You posted in chat and you're just like, I don't know how to feel about this.
Oh, that's right, because it was announced the day after I recorded.
Yeah. So as you all know, Bruce is not the biggest fan of Simon.
No, very, very, very much not. I try not to repeat myself like a broken record too often.
Yeah. So many episodes ago, which that's probably too many because we don't have that many episodes to begin with. And that was one thing that was you were excited about with Bot Wars was these intellectual properties from our youth.
Yeah.
We want to see games of them. We've
and
got
the idea that I came up with at the time was He-Man.
Yes,
because it's a skirmish game that just writes itself.
Absolutely,
it's right there.
You have your goodies and you have your baddies,
right
and Simon got the rights for it.
Yeah, and of course because it's Simon and they can't spend 3 seconds off Kickstarter, it's going to Kickstarter not till 2021. You know that the game that you backed, the Ankh or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's coming.
It was less than 3 weeks after that closed until they were on Kickstarter again for another campaign.
Jeez.
I'm sorry, but
yeah,
there's a reason why I'm on this bandwagon.
Yeah,
it's not a popular opinion, but it's one I have.
Yeah. So that being said, and I've read the rules on Cthulhu Death May Die, and they're good rules. They're pretty straightforward. So my question is,
most of their games are all right. Yeah.
Yeah. My question is, because it's Masters of the Universe, would you back it?
It's going to depend on what's going on at the time. I will definitely be watching it, but I will be wanting to have a closer look at it before I make that decision.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would almost. I'm willing to say that yes, just based on looking at the Cthulhu stuff, the Ankh stuff. I'm going to say yes, just to have the minis.
If the minis are good, then yes. If the minis are good, then it may not even matter what the rules are like. It depends. Right. It all depends.
I mean,
but yeah.
I mean, and then so I mean, how closely did you look at that on Kickstarter?
Oh, I was looking at it very closely. I was that on Kickstarter looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, so if you look at the Egyptian mythology of how many gods they had, so they had a slew of different things. Masters of the Universe. If they do that same level of characters, if we get like 30 characters aside,
and it's all characters.
Yeah.
And I don't know if She-Ra is part of it or not, but the licenses are connected. I suspect that they would leave She-Ra apart and then do that separately.
I could see her being like a or that group being like one of the add-ons to the Kickstarter. Like back this project,
like
for $30 you can add She-Ra and all of this too. Like the extra pantheon for Ankh. It was like $50 and you got like 5 more gods and followers or something like that.
Yeah.
That was like $50. So so now
it's going to be interesting to see, but it's a long way away.
Yeah, I'm very torn now because we talked about it, and when we talked about it the first time, I was like, yes, I want a game like this, and now I've been told there's a game like this coming, and we have to wait a year before we can even decide if we're gonna, back it. Not even get it, just back it.
The thing I find really weird about that, though, see, 2021 is when the new animated series comes. It was originally when the live action movie was supposed to happen. I assume that's not the case anymore because I know they haven't started filming, or at least they haven't.
Who knows when anything's happening at this point?
Well, that too. The animated series is actually being produced at the moment, though, so that is definitely coming next year.
Yeah.
But by going to if they're going to Kickstarter at the time, then hey, yeah, that's when the buzz is happening. But then potentially the buzz is gone by the time it comes to retail, which is a bit of an error, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my only thought on that.
Yeah, it'll be tough to tell. I also want to say there's enough of us, and when I say us, the 30s and 40s crowd who grew up, playing with Castle Grayskull and yelling "I have the power" at the top of our lungs. That
make no mistake, Motu has a massive following. It has its own convention that happens every year, and it's got a large fan base that goes.
Yeah, I mean it's just on that fact alone. I mean, it's like you said when you were complaining about the Marvel license and stuff. It's a license to print money. This game will. I wouldn't be surprised if it got backed for $4 million and does well at retail, in the market.
I expect that this is going to do well on Kickstarter and at retail, but here's where I'll come on to Simon's defense for a second. On the Marvel side of things and the license to print money, I stand by that comment. But realistically, He-Man has failed several times as a franchise. So there's definitely more risk involved here than there is with Marvel.
Well, so I will tell you this. So I've been to a few conventions. One of them was San Diego Comic-Con. The year I went to San Diego, I got a free pass too because I was stationed in California. And they're like, "Hey, military, do you want to come?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll go." So I got a free all access pass, like all access pass. Yeah. One of the things
did you have room to breathe?
I did because I shoved people on my way because I hate people, and I could. No, it wasn't too bad. This is before San Diego is the madhouse that it is. This is like in 2001, I think. Anyways, so that San Diego Comic-Con Tower released. I discovered a comic book called Battle Pope, and they had retooled, like fancied up Masters of the Universe action figures. Projected MSRP of $24 an action figure. When I had
Super 7?
Huh?
Is that what eventually became the Super 7 line?
I believe so.
Okay.
And so
that did massively well.
Yeah, so my thing with that was of what kept me from jumping into that was I remember, because it was still fairly recent, it was only like 12 years off or something like that, if I had $5, I could go buy an action figure from Kmart.
Yep.
And now, and then it's just like, 15 years later, like, oh yeah, these will be $24.
That's cheap too.
And that is cheap. I mean, in the world of action figures that are, collectibles that are $100, sure, I get that. But I was initially I was still very new to that. So
yeah.
I was more interested in the whole comic books and Battle Pope. That seems really cool. When he's not holding mass,
Battle
he's
Pope
out kicking ass. So,
and the addition that was the year that Tower came out dates you.
Yeah. The fact that I was old enough that I had disposable income, I could have bought a Tau army. So, I want to say it was 4th edition they had just released.
That sounds right.
So, yeah, that's the San
They
Diego
weren't
Comic
released
Con.
at the start though; it was near the end.
Yeah,
or about halfway through or something.
All I remember, I was talking to the Games Workshop guy, and they're like, "Yeah, for someone who wants a really shooty army," I'm thinking like, "That's Marines, though. Marines are a shooty army." And then I looked at them like, Marines are a melee army compared to these guys.
Yeah.
So
they introduced them as something that had never been done yet. Well, not in that game anyway.
Well, yeah, no. And the fact that their melee is a different alien race that they have a alliance with. What's an alliance in 40K? An alliance is we rule you now. So,
shall we touch on a couple of events?
Should we touch on a couple of events? Does Bruce
there's one in particular that I want to talk about.
Okay.
Which is not on the run sheet.
Oh, okay. Let's do this.
Well, I mean, it is, but the information
upcoming
on the run
events.
Okay, so we have an update for Gen Con, which last we heard was cancelled. Gen Con is going to take place online. Exactly the same dates. It's still July 30th till August 2nd. If you go to the Gen Con website, which is just gencon.com/online, you can do a free registration. There is an official merch catalog. Everybody that was going to be there is doing things online through the event. That's pretty much all I can tell you at this point. But yeah, they're finding a way around the fact that they couldn't host it. And so I suspect that we'll still see a couple of the things that were going to be announced here will probably still get announced as part of this now.
Yeah. I think I'm mostly okay with them doing an event like this to, for the manufacturers and the organizations and people that make the community, because, if they can't make announcements and make it on a large scale platform of check out this new thing you have to have, it's not as, all right, put a press release on the website. Not everyone checks their websites though.
I mean, I do, but that's largely because I'm finding information for us most of the time.
Right. I mean, there's a couple of websites I check. Like, I realize so much on just scrolling through Facebook that sometimes I'm even missing, TT Combat stuff. Because, if I'm not constantly in the group, Facebook, and it's infinite wisdom, reduces the number of posts I see from the group. Jerks. Ooh, I kind of like that shirt though. Gen Con 2020, and it's like the eye chart. Next on the list is PAX Australia. Is that going? Are you going?
At this particular point, it's still happening. Yes. Tickets haven't gone on sale yet, but I will be there.
Yeah, I've heard you guys have pretty much got the COVID under control for the most part.
Pretty much. Last week there was 10 new cases in my state, which was like 9 more than everyone else. Things are fairly okay over here.
That doesn't sound too bad. I mean, we're still people don't understand things over here. It seems, like vaccines are
Oh, trust
bad.
me, there's plenty of that over here. You go past the shopping center over here, and there's 40 people sitting around out the side being idiots.
I'm just confused these days because I don't know what I need to go to grocery shopping. Do I need a mask or a brick?
Mask. You get arrested if you take a brick.
Okay, but I can open carry, so I don't need a brick.
Okay.
So are you doing are you gonna do drop fleet at PAX then? Are you gonna try to do
That
drop
is
fleet?
the current plan. It's just gonna depend on what happens at this point.
So, well, if you do, what you need to do is you need to have a massive battery backup and record every possible thing you can and talk to people.
Well, yeah. See, it's going to be me, the
Adrian,
guy that I was hosting. Yeah, me, Adrian, and there's one other guy that's looking to do drop fleet there as well. So we'll team up, and so we can actually still get around and see the rest of the event.
sure.
But otherwise, at that particular point, I think that's going to be us for the episode.
Is there? I thought you said there was something that wasn't on the run sheet.
That was the thing that wasn't on the run sheet.
Oh,
Was
it's on the
Gen
run
Con.
sheet, but it's there.
Yes, but that was old information.
Oh, okay. You confuse me, Bruce. Do you have crayons?
You confuse very easily.
I want crayons. You got crayons?
No,
All right.
I don't have any more crayons.
Thank you again for tuning into this episode of Getting Tabled. You can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/gettingtable. You can see this podcast in video form before the audio is released, as well as our other stuff like my Shaltari painting video that I am in the process of finishing editing up right now as we speak. Facebook.com/GettingTable is where you can find us and our posts. Twitter at Getting Table. I think I'm doing enough stuff content wise now that I could probably actually start tweeting about it and maybe people would care.
Yeah, we need to. Our Twitter handle is Getting Tabled. We do need to use that more. Facebook.com/Getting Tabled. Obviously, you will find everything connected to that. So,
and then our website, gettingtabled.weebly.com. The more I use it, the more I'm not liking it, though. I don't know. Do we even need a
Weebly.
website? Gettingtabled.weebly.com.
I mean, we do
I
kind
know,
of.
yeah.
We do kind of need it.
Yeah.
Then we
I
need
mean,
a place for it to be hosted from. I wouldn't mind giving the website an overhaul.
you got the information. Do it.
Yep, I know.
Oh, wait. There's this thing we need called
Thank you.
time.
I would like some more of that.
And sleep. Bruce
Okay,
would like sleep.
I have to try and fight sleep at this point.
Really?
Oh yeah, because I have to get up and work in the morning, so I have to somehow stay awake all day.
Oh, okay.
I've been awake for 20 hours.
Do you want to try to
I'm
do
gonna
a
go have another coffee.
Do you want to try to do a video cam session of Forbidden Island? Because Sam's breaking out Forbidden Island.
Forbidden Island? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I actually do want to play that at some point.
really. If you want some help staying asleep, like he's pulling it out, so I think we're gonna play a game.
Well,
just said we are.
I'm gonna. Yep. Well, I'm gonna have coffee.
You have coffee.
Everybody
Yeah, well-
else, play more games, but by yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For listening to Getting Tabled. Music used in this podcast was created by Eric Matthias at soundimage.org.